Hey, welcome back in today's video. We're going to be talking about something we've not talked about in a long time on this channel. Poppy and Titanic Sinclair. Now, if you remember back during the Mars Argo lawsuit, they exposed an individual named Josh Moran, the guy that beat up Titanic Sinclair. Well, Josh has come forward with his side of the events for the first time, and you're going to want to hear what he has to say. If you're unfamiliar, Poppy is a YouTuber, real name Mariah Pereira, that I used to cover on this channel back in 2017. Titanic Sinclair, who is a director that used to be featured to the right of her channel just until a week ago, well, he has his own channel. As you can see, Poppy is still featured to the right of his channel. Now, I'm unclear as to why Poppy has removed him from the side of her channel. There's a lot of speculation out there, and we might talk about it at the end of this video. But this video right here, a lot of you have heard it before. Pay attention to it because it's important to this video. In 2018, Poppy and Corey were sued by another creator by the name of Mars Argo for stealing and copying her image. The lawsuit got pretty crazy, and if you want to know more about it, I covered the entire saga and did a breakdown with a lawyer named Nick Rakita. I will put the playlist below. During the height of the lawsuit, Corey strategically released a video of him being attacked by one Josh Moran, and at the same time, Poppy released a statement along with incomplete pieces of information that omitted the true narrative of the events that took place. This is the statement here. We're going to focus on specific parts in this video, but if you want to read it in its entirety, I will put it below. It starts off, I have never spoken publicly before as Poppy, but I am doing so now because I feel it is important to address these false accusations. Now, we know that she didn't start working with Titanic until about 30,000 subscribers on her channel, but before that, her IRL nickname was in fact Poppy, and she did use that name publicly. She talks about having to conceal her identity because she was a survivor, and not to discredit a survivor story, but it's pretty widely known that she adopted this aesthetic and hit her sub count as part of the aesthetic she adopted while working with Corey. In the fourth paragraph, she says, I've known Miss Sheets for years, and she is well aware of the anguish I went through. In an attempt to manipulate me psychologically, Miss Sheets is now collaborating and maintaining an ongoing relationship with the exact man who took advantage of me when I was young and vulnerable. She goes on to say that Brittany was collaborating and maintaining a relationship with the exact man who took advantage of her while claiming stalking, harassment, and other wrongdoings. She said that these were just projections of things that Brittany was doing herself and that Corey was blameless, which is discrediting a survivor's story. Another thing that didn't make any sense was that if in fact Brittany was maintaining an ongoing relationship with the exact man who took advantage of her, was Poppy not doing the same thing working with Corey Mixter, but taking it a step further by victim blaming Brittany and saying Corey was blameless? Let me know what you think below. I want you to keep in mind everything that this statement said because Josh Moran has provided me with receipts and videos that show the truth of what happened and that Poppy and Corey purposely lied in an attempt to discredit Brittany. Here's one of many video clips showing Corey's true character. This is him upset with Mars Argo because she will not give him the password to her Facebook. It's important to, before I show you this video, to note that Brittany Sheets, aka Mars Argo, has nothing to do with these videos, and these videos are actually from Josh Moran. He's had them since 2015, and he's sharing this with us to show his side of the story.
Hey, Brett.
What's
What's your
up?
Facebook group? What's
I'm
it
not
called?
sure what it's called.
What's it called?
I'm not sure.
Oh, really? What's it called?
I'm not sure.
What's your Facebook group?
As we go through this video, you're going to see things that are eye-opening, things that are going to give you more context, and things that you've never seen before.
You want my testimonial? I just went with Borns to Conan O'Brien, one of the most popular TV shows on TV, and Borns Garrett, as I know him, the reason that he exists in LA right now, he's too good to respond to me because he's too much of a bitch to respond to the fact that he wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. But it's because he has people like Kennedy controlling him, because he's not able to control himself, because Lexi owns him, Pulse owns him, Interscope owns him, and if Garrett ever watches this, he'll know. Talk to me like your brother that I am, and you're losing because you're getting controlled. They are controlling you, son. And this nigga won't be controlled. They're gonna control you, and it's cool. They'll make you feel like you're famous, man. You're famous, dude. You're big. You're the next big thing, man. You're gonna be Johnny Depp. You're gonna be Jack White times infinity, but guess what? They're raping you, son. They are raping you. You don't know what's actually happening because guys like me are looking at you like a product. That pisses me off. I don't like it. I don't write the rules. I play by it.
If you remember, after being faced with a lawsuit in 2018, Poppy attached pieces of cropped court documents filed against Josh Moran as evidence of her being a survivor. However, I'm about to show you fully uncropped court documents for the first time, and it tells a different story. As you can see, Corey and Poppy filed for individual TROs on the same day. Then Corey's was denied on 9/14/2015, while Poppy's was dismissed on 10/7/2015. We didn't really get much context until now. First, we're going to look at Poppy's. As you can see, Poppy's TRO lists 3 witnesses: Corey Mixter, a man named Chris, and a man named Sam. Now, Josh tells me that the only one he saw was Corey and that they were facing away from any windows, so it would have been really hard for anyone to see any type of fight at all. He also tells me that not only did he not know Poppy was there, he only came there for Corey, and that he had no issues with Poppy. This is actually backed up in case transcripts by Corey himself while under oath, and not once did any mention of Poppy come up during the hearing, which doesn't make any sense. And even more confusing is that there's no mention of Poppy in Corey's case documents, even though they applied for TROs on the same day. As you can see, Corey's main witness is Mariah, along with the guy Chris and Sam, and he also lists neighbors. So in Poppy's court documents, she writes, Joshua was stalking me and found out my location, drove to my current boyfriend's house talking about Corey, and was looking in the windows. He knew we were inside and called my current boyfriend Corey to come outside, where he then proceeded to attack him during a conversation they were having, and I was scared for my life. Now, the crazy thing is nowhere in Corey's documents was there any mention of this. And in the court transcripts, it was brought up that this was just a business matter. The only angry ex-boyfriend narrative that you're going to hear is from Poppy in this court document that lists it as related to Corey's. Now, you would think that since Poppy's case was said to be related, and that since she stated that Josh came to the residence because of her, there would be some account or some piece of this said in Corey's documents or in the transcripts about this upset ex-boyfriend narrative, yet there's nothing like this present. But Corey only states that Josh is upset about a business matter. As for Poppy's narrative in her case documents, it says no allegations relating to Poppy. All of the allegations and acts of violence relate to the person's new boyfriend, Corey Michael Mixter, who has filed his own separate case, and it gives the case number in relation. And any type of restraining order was denied until the court hearing, which didn't really ever happen because she never showed up and it was dismissed. When I think about this, I have to wonder why Poppy did not include any of this information. Or at least a public case number at the time when she condemned Josh as her abuser. That's a pretty serious accusation that can ruin someone's life. Keep in mind that Corey and Poppy applied for TROs on the same day, and their cases were related. However, when asked under oath, Corey denies there is another related case. Josh says that when he showed up to his court date for Corey on the 14th of September, that he saw Corey and Poppy in the hallway in what looked like a heated argument. And even though Poppy was Corey's main witness, not only did she give no testimony, but she actually decided to wait outside the courtroom. I have here the transcript that shows exactly what happened. Keep in mind that Poppy and Josh's court hearing isn't until 2 more days on the 16th of September. So just for context, when it says the court, that's just the court talking. The petitioner is Corey Mixter, and the respondent is Josh Moran. I'm going to be using their names in context to this, but if you want to get more details on this and a first-hand account, I'm going to put these in the description below. The court says, all right, we will proceed with Mr. Mixter versus Moran, number 8 on our calendar. Corey says, hello. The court says you're trying to get a restraining order against Mr. Moran because he beat you up on August 17th, where Corey says that's correct. The court says, I'd like you to tell me about that. Corey says, I was supposed to leave for New York City. The record label mismanaged the flight, Island Records, who Josh is currently assigned to. I received a text from Josh stating that he knew I was there and that he would like to settle unfinished business. I did not alert anybody in my home because I didn't want to scare anyone because they are already scared of him. I walked outside. I do want to point out that Poppy says in her case document that Josh Moran was looking in the windows and that she knew he was there for her, when in Corey's document, he says he alerted no one in the home, so they did not know he was there. Someone is lying. The court, he's an ex-partner. Corey, he used to be. The court, did you live together? Corey says, no, I never paid rent, and when I slept on his couch several times, I was still paying rent at a different residence. The court asks, but at the same time of this incident, were you roommates? Where Corey says, no. I have private text messages where Corey thanks Josh for giving him a place to stay. I can't show them for legal reasons. The court asks, what happened? Corey says, I offered to shake his hand. He put his arms up like this and said, no, it's not like that, indicating where the court cuts him off and says, indicating hands raised. Corey says, indicating that he was not going to accept my handshake upon seeing him. I offered him a seat. He claimed I owed him money, which is not true. He claimed that I took an idea for a music video. I'm a music video director. It's an idea that I had years before I met him, and he had previously threatened to kill me and my friend Garrett. He's talking about Garrett Barnes. And the court cuts him off here and says, when was that? Corey says that was in 2014. Now, before we go on, I want to show you, now if you remember, I said pay attention to that video on his main page. He's saying here that this was not intended for Josh, but I'm about to show you evidence where there was a deal, that he was specifically making this video for a music video for Josh that they were already working on. So as you can see, this is a video of the same video that Titanic Sinclair has on his YouTube channel page, but this is a version with Josh with another completely different song. And here's a side-by-side, frame for frame, where you can see that this video was originally meant for Josh Moran. This is kind of going to get you inside this story, and you really start to feel a little bit sick about the situation, and you see how it was manipulated against Josh Moran and in such the darkest way. So he just said that Josh was sending him and Garrett Bourne death threats back in 2014, even though they'd hung out multiple times since then. And even though he said he was afraid for his life, they were still going out and eating. They were catching up and being the best of friends. So this points and shows the depth and lies that Titanic Sinclair, aka Corey Mixter, will go to have his narrative put out there in the way that he wants. The court dismisses this and says that's really too long for us to consider because nothing has happened in that year. Corey says, there have been multiple threats. The court says, well, were they verbal or in writing? And Corey says both. The court says, do you have any text or emails? He says, I do have emails, yes. The court says, could you please show them to me? Where he says, yes. The court says, and what's the most recent date on the email? Corey says, the most recent would be, oh, that was May 27th. The court says, all right, now what happened on August 17th? Josh's lawyer, Mr. Swinton, says, may I see? The court says, please show it to the counsel. Would you read those threats? Corey says, I will see you in LA. That will be a really fun dialogue for me, with a kissy face. Smiley face with a kiss emoji. The court says, what's an emoji? Corey says, it's a face, a symbol that you can send through text. The court says, but that's not a threat. Corey says, it's clearly a threat. He's trying to strong-arm me. He's sending me. That will be a really fun dialogue for me, where the court says, all right. Corey says, with a kissy face. The court says, what he's actually saying is he's not threatening violence. What he's threatening is to enter into a dialogue with you. Now tell me what happened on the 17th. Corey says, after we spoke for about 3.5 minutes, he attacked me. That's the clearest way to say it. The court says, I want a description of the attack, where Corey says, I was sitting in a lawn chair. He was sitting in a lawn chair. He stood up. He punched me in the head. He grabbed me by the hair. He threw me through a chair. It was a very violent attack. I have it with me right now on my phone if you'd like to see it. The court says, yes, I would. Please show it to the attorney first. Corey says, the court says, excuse me. Corey says, if he's already seen, does it make any difference? So at this point, even though the court's asking him to show the video to Josh Moran's lawyer, he's declining to do so. Of course, he's got to do that. The court says the attorney has a right to see it. Corey says, would you like to see it? Mr. Swinton says, yes. The court says, did you call the police after this? Corey says, I did. The court says, was he arrested? Corey says, I do not believe so. The court says, do you know why? Corey says, I believe because they have to locate him. I don't know where he lives. The court then says, you know because you got him served, right? Then Corey says, yes. So right there, he is caught in a lie. Then the court says, you indicated there is an open city attorney case. What's that about? To which Corey says, excuse me, no, there is no open case. Which we already know that there is an open case submitted through Poppy that's related to this case. But he says, no, there is not. It makes no sense. So this is where we're going to hear Josh's side of the story. The court asks, what happened, sir? Josh says, so the court says, why did you go there first of all? Josh says, okay, so Corey and I were good friends. I had hired him to do some music videos for me. Corey says, not personally. And we're going to talk about what he means just here in a second. The court says, please don't interrupt him. Josh says, I have proof here. He was paid through my company. We had meetings through the company I was working for. I hired him to do videos. I ended up signing a record deal. He had gotten into some disputes with his girlfriend. That would be Brittany Sheets. Didn't have a place to go, and I let him stay with me for free for 3 months. Drive my car when I was away. I was a very good friend to him. And then, my father passed away. I was going through a lot, flying to Louisiana and back dealing with it. I started feeling very taken advantage of by this gentleman, and we had some words over a year ago. Since then, we've hung out many times without incidents. We've gone on double dates. Is that in 2015? It's both. I've hung out with him this year plenty of times. We went on double dates about 4 months ago, and I've been having conversations with him for the past 6 months about we have made plans to finish our videos. I have done everything I can, and the last few times I've come out here, he bailed on me. It's clear he's going through some personal stuff, and I've been trying to be understanding, but at my publishing company, I am recouping against all the money that I have paid him. So eventually I said, just Corey, look, man, either just pay me the remainder of the money or finish the videos. Then I saw that he had posted a video that was basically the exact video I paid for, just reshot for him to release. And that's the video that Titanic has on his YouTube channel. This is a product that I paid for, and I was in a really tough spot. I spent a lot of money dealing with my dad's death and all that stuff, and I felt like I did a lot for this person. I was a very good friend of this person. I felt really taken advantage of. He told me to have my business manager reach out for the money. I did that. And when they responded with some excuse about, oh, how I should subtract that from just, trying to get out of paying me the money. And we kept talking. I kept trying to be cool and calm, and finally we made plans to meet up and figure this out. I have a text message here on Sunday, August 16th. Feels good to be back in sunny Los Angeles. When are you around? I want to swing by and figure everything out soon. The court says this is from the petitioner, Corey Mixter. The respondent said this is from me to him. The court says, all right. Josh says his response is, and this doesn't sound like somebody that is scared of me. Reading, yo, I'm in New York until Saturday, but let's get food when I get back. Sounds good. So that completely throws the narrative that Corey's trying to spin in this transcript out the window. It's so obvious. Now he says on the day of the fight, he said he just talked to him and Corey told him that he was in New York. I didn't know his flight got moved. It seemed like he was ducking me because a friend of mine was like, I just saw Corey. He's still in LA. I happened to be rehearsing down the street from there. So I went over there and I texted, hey, I'm outside. I know you're here. We have unfinished business. Specifically, the text message said, I'm not looking for trouble, my man. He comes out, he sat down, I had a conversation, basically just like, look, man, I've done a lot for you. I've been there for you. I'm in a really tough spot right now. Just give me my money, man. I'm in need. I really helped you. I went out of my way to help you. Not to mention 2.5 months ago, I referred him and had my friend hire him to do a video for $5,800. These aren't just things that a friend doesn't do. I've been a very good friend to him during his time of need. My grandfather died in January. My stepdad died 2 months ago. I came out here and I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to work hard, get things done, and I hit a rough patch. I felt totally betrayed. I went there to talk about it. He made inappropriate comments about my father's death and the fact that he had no interest in paying me the money, that he owed me or delivering me more videos. I just lost control. This one isolated incident, and friends have tried to mediate. I've apologized for my part in it. This is very unlike me. So you can tell Josh is just very distraught. It's hard for him to talk during this. It does seem like Corey took advantage of him in a vulnerable state. And then he goes on to say, they have also sent videos of the fight to everyone in the music industry. And I've seen evidence of this through emails and text messages of Corey. I can't show those things, but of Corey purposely sending these things out to his everyone, his label, and got him fired and pretty much have ruined his life at this point. And that's why I decided to take upon this project so I can present his side of the story, because I feel like an unjust has happened here, and I just want to try to see if we can put the story out there for you guys to see, and at least you guys will know the truth. They have also sent videos of the fight to everyone in the music industry. I've been fired from my management company because they took it upon themselves to try to smear my name. Post things on Facebook with my full name. Send the videos around. It's affecting my work. I can prove loss of wages, and I have suffered so much. He is in no danger, not to mention that in 30 days, I'm going to be back in New York where I live. I'm just out here for work, and I really apologize. Since that incident, after it happened, I took it upon myself to go into anger management, get into therapy, and start dealing with it. These deaths at once, it's been really hard on me. I have been put on Zoloft to calm down. And we were very, very good friends, and I was a good friend to you, and I'm sorry, man. Mr. Mixter, restraining orders are issued when there is a course of conduct, and the course of conduct here seems to be one of a friendship and business dispute, and when there is a serious, reasonable threat of future injury. In this case, the respondent is indicating that he is apologizing, that it's still an ongoing civil dispute, and that he's going to go back to New York. Do you understand, Mr. Moran, that any civil dispute with respect to the video or any rights to the video have to be resolved in a civil court for damages, and that you should have further contact with the petitioner, who has indicated to you multiple times that he is not going to honor any possible agreement that he had with you? The respondent, yes, ma'am. Then the court says, however, based on the fact that this is not a course of conduct and it is not a reasonable threat in the future, particularly in light of the attitude of the petitioner in court and the respondent in court, the fact that he is moving, this is denied. Thank you. You may go. So Corey's TRO is completely denied because the court only issues them when there's a reasonable threat of future injury. It was deemed a friendship and business dispute. And not only did Poppy's name not come up, not once did talk of Josh being an upset ex-boyfriend come up. Corey, under oath in a court of law, chose not to mention any of that narrative and even denied a related case. 2 days later, not only did Poppy fail to serve Josh in any way, shape, or form, but she did not show up to her own court date. It was rescheduled one more time to 10/7/2015. She failed to make that appearance as well, resulting in dismissal altogether. So I gotta ask, why? 3 years later, did Poppy release a statement proclaiming as Josh Moran being her abuser, and then post dismissed and denied documents and call it legally documented trauma from her past? And why was this cropped and hidden in such a way that it only benefited Corey Mixter? I have a statement here from Josh. I'm going to read it to you. This situation has been going on for far too long. I want to make it clear that I have no interest in creating issues or problems. I solely want to address the allegations that have been made against me over the years. Allegations that were completely unprovoked. Allegations that I have never responded to, as I had hoped that the parties making these allegations would have on their own admitted that they were untrue. However, there were parties that decided not to move on. They contacted my employer, my publisher, my record label, and many friends online through text, making serious and completely false claims of stalking and death threats, a smear campaign to ruin my life. I had tried to just simply move on after my successful win in court in 2015. Fast forward 3 years later, these parties were being sued for many allegations, including alleged abuse, copyright infringement, etc. by Britney. They appeared to try to victim blame Britney and somehow make this about me. They made up sensational claims that Britney and I had an ongoing collaborative project and relationship, none of which is true. I want to make it clear I had nothing to do with the lawsuit between Britney and these parties. I never spoke to a lawyer. I never gave a statement. I am not mentioned a single time in the entire lawsuit. It's none of anyone's business, but I do want to note that when my relationship ended with Poppy, I told her that I was moving back to NYC, that I needed time, and we spoke about remaining friends and respecting each other's lives. She seemed really understanding and in agreement, but that changed. I landed back in NYC on May 14th of 2015. 5 days later, the trust fund video came out and the rest is history. I'm embarrassed and I regret that I got into a fight, but I'm completely innocent of their disgusting and violating claims of stalking and death threats. I didn't do it, and there's nothing out there that contradicts my position. This video actually confirms my side of the story. The information covered in this video is a matter of public record, and these parties in the transcript were all under oath. I did not participate in the making of this video. I was asked to comment and to be interviewed, but since multiple videos are coming out anyway, whether I agreed or not, I chose to simply make this statement. I have hired legal representation and I will not be commenting on this matter further. If I'm harassed, lied about, or bothered again in any way, I will be taking swift legal action. So you can see this person's really hurt by what happened. I know there's a lot of things that are going on currently with Poppy and Titanic Sinclair, or Corey Mixter, whichever you want to call him. If anything, what is going on between them now is very, very, very telling of all this evidence that has been listed in this video. If you guys have any questions, comment below. I'll try to respond to some of those things. You guys can hit me up on Twitter. There's probably going to be updates about this in the future, so if this is something that interests you, consider subscribing, turning notifications on, because as interesting as this is, there's always something that's more interesting to me. That's right, you guessed it. I want to know what you think, so why don't you go ahead and leave your creative and or interesting responses in the comment box below. Thumbs up for those likes, as always, brothers and sisters. I will see you in the next video. Well, this is definitely a bombshell. I know there's a lot of things going on in the Poppy universe right now. But this is big here, and I have seen videos that I can't post here, I wouldn't post here, that definitely support his side. I will say this, I don't know if Poppy did those things. I don't know if the statement in the crop documents that she put out, which are obviously false, I don't know if it was her doing or if it was Titanic Sinclair. I've heard that Titanic Sinclair is mostly in control of her social media, but it looks like they're broken up with and no longer together. I don't even know as business partners. It looks like it's something's going on there. So just based off the information that I'm seeing, I would probably think that it had something to do with Corey Mixter. But that's all I got to say on that. It's getting cold out there. Don't forget to get your Repzilla sweaters, merch link in the description. It's another way to show that you're repping if you're not repping your Greg. And how you do that? I got to subscribe, notifications, turn on, be in the comment section for every single video because I'm going to be there. Greg the Cat's going to be there and the rest of the Repzilla community as well. And I expect to see you there too because this channel loves you. Ooh, this is a big one.